Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Trinity Competitive Racing for Season 15 of the Platinum class, and we are here with 2 rounds remaining on the season in Portugal. As you can tell, it is sunny right now, but we have gotten reports that the race will be quite the opposite. So buckle up, it's going to be an exciting race. My name is Camden Luca, and returning to the Platinum class booth for the first time in a long time is none other than Golden Class driver and coordinator, Sir Charles. Welcome back.
Hello, hello. It's nice to be back. It's been a minute, but hey, it's nice to be back, and it's on a really exciting track, and it's going to have a bit of a wrench thrown into it with the deluge that's expected to be coming. Same as yesterday, ironically. So I don't know. Apparently this place likes the rain. Even though for what it's worth, Portugal is usually fairly arid in terms of actual climate, but I digress. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Gonna have a lot of good competition up front, and like I said, I think it's gonna be a real good race here today.
I think this is the first time in weeks I've actually had a co-com, so I'm glad you're back. Glad I won't be talking to myself for.
You had Freeze at one time when he was quote unquote injured.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was weeks ago now. But yeah, we're here, we're back, and we're ready to rumble. I do believe we are on both Twitch and YouTube. Yesterday we did have some difficulties with the Twitch, but we are here, and for all you Twitch viewers, welcome. Round 13 of the Platinum class, and I think the first thing we got to talk about before we even get to qualifying is the drama. Silent, as you can tell, is not here tonight. He ended up getting a race ban from the last lap incidents that occurred last week, and probably the most chaotic sequence of events that we've had all year.
Yeah, definitely, and a lot of penalties being handed out. B-Tom got a penalty. A small penalty, but really the big issue was the 2 Ferrari drivers can hit with pretty hefty penalties, and some would say that they got off fairly light, especially, you know, with the way the rules and stuff are awarded. So sometimes when it's, I don't know, whenever there's some sort of determined to be some sort of intent, even though there was no, you know, of course the Ferrari drivers, they both, you know, denied it, but whenever it's determined that way, I think sometimes you can feel like a one race ban might be a bit lenient, but like I said, it's kind of hard to tell what was actually going on. But regardless of what actually happened, it did not look good for the Ferraris, and you know, like I said, some would say that it might have even been a bit of a light penalty. I even suggested that maybe, you know, if there's any sketchy team tactics in the future, maybe TCR would consider taking away some constructor points as a bit more of a hindrance in that, because we've seen some sketchy team tactics. It's not the first time we've seen sketchy team tactics this season, you know, across the TCR platforms and other classes as well. So I don't know, just something to look at. But like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how it works moving forward. And of course, you know, Professional is still, or Vader is still here today, and it'll be interesting to see how, you know, if him and B-Tom get together and how the races go. But it's going to be a bit of a few of the contenders missing today. Of course, obviously with Silent, and Mebby's also not here, but we do have Confessor and B-Tom with the McLaren. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, especially if you know, like I said, Vader. He's, you know, like I said, he's probably one of the best rain drivers in the class, I'd say. So with that in mind, it'll be interesting to see how he, you know, if him and B-Tom get together on track, how that goes down today.
And I think one thing that got pretty lost out of all that controversy is Seafreeze actually crossed the line in first last week, but he ended up getting a penalty as well for a mid-race incident. So Confessor got his second win of the season, and considering how few races he's showed up this season, he's had a pretty good track record.
Yeah, definitely, and I guess I should probably throw Seafreeze in there to the list of regular contenders, but yeah. There's a lot of penalties handed out last week, and I do not feel envy to stewards at all. Although, granted, the Seafreeze one I feel like was fairly straightforward. But so who got third? Was it Flip-Flop Fish?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's kind of a shame for B-Tom. Like I said, I'm here to criticize the stewards, but I didn't really think he deserved a penalty. But that's neither here nor there. But it's kind of a shame that his perfect podium streak came to an end last week. Although he probably won't be too hurt over that, as he pretty wrapped up the championship last week. So, very good chance B-Tom will be clinching the Platinum Class Championship this evening. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on. It'll be his fourth record-breaking time, breaking his. It'll be his. Sorry, I was reading some text message here. Trailed off there, but
you had me concerned that you left us for a second.
Yeah, well, especially with the whole controversy from last night of random disconnects. So we'll have to see who gets randomly disconnected here. Worth mentioning, Ben Swerven probably had the race of his life last night. Like I said, he really hasn't been he's been relatively quick, but he really hasn't been a race winning or even podium contender in the Golden Class. And maybe it's track, maybe it's terrain, maybe it's both. But he put on a clinic last night. Really didn't make any mistakes, and then got disconnected on the last lap, which is heartbreaking to see. His AI car still crossed the line due to TCR rules. He'll still get the points, but he dropped the third and did not get the win, which is not what you want to see. So, was worth mentioning. It's raining again, and he is in the field. He is in the lobby. We have a couple golden reserves, including Giggle and Fire Up Flow, who were not able to race last night, so it'll be interesting to see how they do. Yeah, Ben Swerven back for more in the Alpine, so we'll see if he can put on another good show. Like I said, with it raining again, it'll be interesting to see if he has the similar pace to what he did last night.
Yeah, right now he is P7 on the board, but in front of him, Bats Plus to the line, improves a little bit in P3, but he's a mile behind the top two, which happens to be both McLaren drivers. Obviously, Confessor a reserve, but McLaren is not in contention for the constructors anymore for the Platinum class. So Ferrari has that wrapped up, but they can still get a McLaren driver, at least to win the Drivers' Championship tonight, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. And Confessor was first driver into the 16s. Like I said, I expect a few more drivers to get down at least into the low 17s. I'm sure B-Tom will probably break into the 17s too. But yeah, this is a very fun track. Well, one thing we'll have to keep an eye on is track limits. And that's something that's going to be always present, especially turn 1, turn 4. And the one that got me was I don't even know what turn it was. It's the one at the top of the hill when you come to the end of the second sector, when you drop down.
Turn 11?
Turn 11, yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone, if you've driven the track, you know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, I should probably know the turn name. So that's the one that always gets me. So there's a lot of places that could catch you out in terms of track limits here. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on that and see how they handle it. Of course, I don't think it'll be an issue for like B-Tom. And I would say Vader, but he's gotten track limit penalties a couple times in the past few weeks. It's really surprising. Usually don't see that out of him, but yeah, I mean, I haven't been here the past couple of weeks, but Vader really made a reputation of himself as the guy who doesn't make mistakes and always gets the best finish out of himself, and that had really been what he was doing this season. But it seems like the championship pressure really, the past couple of weeks, they really caught up to him. There's been a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes from him and at both, obviously Hungary and Monza, so it'll be interesting to see now that the championship's kind of out of reach if he kind of reverts back to where his former form is and gets up towards the front again.
We'll have to see. He is P7 right now, pretty far behind B-Tom in the order, but behind B-Tom is now Seafreeze in the 117.6s, and when Seafreeze shows up this season, he's been competitive. He's been on and off, like you said. He had a minor injury plague him midway through the season, and his attendance became kind of spotty, but I'm telling you, he's got the pace. I would not be afraid to put him on my podium.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously he crossed the finish line first last week. But yeah, he's been very close to getting a couple wins, aside from the first win of the season. But yeah, been a very up and down season for him, especially after his first win at Australia earlier this season, where he definitely got really inconsistent after that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these guys go. I'm kind of surprised some of the times aren't as fast as maybe they are, but like I said, a lot of these guys are probably running a little bit wet setups, which could throw those off, although, to be fair, I don't think there's a huge difference between wet and dry setups on this game, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting just looking at the times here, because like I said, I know Vader and some of these guys definitely have some more time left in them. Ooh, his Dirt Shark has retired.
Interesting. He's not even going to attempt another lap here. So I guess he's satisfied with where he's starting. Hopefully he's good in the rain.
Yeah.
I do see Omega in the comments. Actually, Omega, so you can see right now that we have a dry quali, but it has been confirmed that we will have a wet race. So Platinum guys are getting the same treatment as you and the other Golden Class drivers. If that makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
You included, Charles. You're one of those Golden Class drivers that had to deal with the rain yesterday.
Yeah, like I said, I thought, I'm just happy I was somewhat competitive yesterday. Yeah, I almost considered racing this race, just because I really like this track. And looking at the quality times, I'm like, wow, I could be competitive, because I'm right, I'm usually qualifying, I'm usually right around the 118, I could maybe dip under 118 occasionally, so it'd be right around hovering around the top 5, 6 there. But I'm happy to not do another rain race. This is a track that's pretty mentally exhausting just because there's so many tricky traction zones, and it's such a, it's a tricky track to really nail a lap in. It's really satisfying when you get it right, but, it's mentally draining in the dry. Throw in the wet, and it's just every corner you're really having to work and just find the limit of the car and not step over it, and it's just, it'd be a bit of a mental battle, this track, so, yeah, I'm happy to be sitting here in the comfort of the virtual booth on my couch here.
The virtual booth. Yeah, it is rewarding, especially for both of us because we do our commentary the day after our races. So it's nice to where you can kind of relax at the end of the TCR week, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. But no more field filler roles for me. That was me last year, just putting around at the back of these Platinum races sometimes.
Hey, that role would have really helped out in the Silver class, and even the Golden class if you were, reserved in that class, because the attendance hasn't been as good as Platinum in those classes, but looks like everybody is out on track right now with less than a minute left. Fire Up Flow is going to be the first one to complete a lap under this stint in qualifying, and he goes wide and his lap is over, so he will not be the first one to complete a lap in the closing seconds. That's Plus behind him, though, is good by 0.2, and that would put him ahead of Seafreeze for the time being, so let's see how he executes turns 14 and 15. Oh, he's got a McLaren in his way, though. We'll see if this affects him at all. He might actually get a draft, so this could help him.
I think he caught him right at the point where it wasn't really going to hurt him, and he does jump ahead of Seafreeze. That was Confessor who was right ahead of him.
Ben Swerven starting a lap, it looks like. Qualifying has expired. Well, no, Ben Swerven's in the pit, so he is done. Gagel is invalid. His lap is over.
Yeah, B-Tom is actually slower through the first sector there.
Oh, boy.
Let's see how Vader's doing. He's come to the second sector split. And he is 3.5 tenths up.
Wow.
They'll jump him up a few spots. Probably won't get him up to Seafreeze. As Seafreeze is actually coming to the line now. Oh, and Seafreeze back to P3. And Vader, yep, does jump up a couple spots.
Behind him, got any weed, P6.
B-Tom is up. He had a really good second sector.
Oh, Fire Up
Quitty.
Flow has beached it and is disqualified.
Oh no! Confessor improves by half a tenth, and sudden Beatom improved by almost 2/10, but it wasn't enough to get up to Confessor. So some big laps coming in at the end from those guys. And unless Andy Wu has something, that probably is it. No, Andy Wu pulls into pits. So
Yep, that will do it. Confessor starting on pole position, continuing where he left off last week in Hungary, top of the charts. And we saw there at the end, Fire Up Flow was beached. He was stuck off the track. You could see his rear wheel spinning. He couldn't get out of there. Maybe could have reset the track. That was probably his only option, but he will be starting at the rear.
yeah. By the way, FYI, all drivers, if you're beached and legitimately can't move, once it starts giving you that countdown, you can reset the track as long as you don't do it right in front of somebody. I know it's usually a hard rule, no resetting the track in this league, but, once it starts that little countdown saying you're about to get disqualified, by all means, don't get disqualified. We want you in the race or qualifying. So.
Okay. We'll see what happens here, Charles. I just got a notification saying suspending this game in 15 minutes because license can't be verified.
What?
Which doesn't make sense because I literally fixed the issue earlier. So
what license? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah.
That's very concerning, though.
The game's saying you're. It looks like it's looking like enters, just starting from the garage there.
Yeah.
The game's saying you're underage.
Maybe. I hope we don't have any issues, though. That would suck, but yeah, I don't really understand that, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah, I don't know, but it is going to be a rain race, and that will change things up.
Yeah. And looking at the little garage there into the Mercedes garage, those like enters will be the tires choosing, but of course we'll find out for sure in a few minutes here. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. A professional will be starting a little bit further back, so it'll be interesting to see him get to the field. I'm pretty sure he'll be hitting right up there because of how good he is in these wet and tricky conditions. Might also be interesting to see because, like I said, they say the weather's supposed to get better throughout the race, so maybe it'll be dry towards the end. Of course, there was a chance for that yesterday, and it never happened. So, we shall see.
For sure, but I think it is time for those predictions. And, well, Charles, it's been a little bit since you've been in the booth. Why don't you go first?
All right, well, this could be a bit of a risk, but I know I haven't seen him. I know I haven't seen him. Oh man, I don't want to be boring here. There's a confirmation of the intermediate tires, but I'm just looking at the Confessor has been so spot on ever since he's gotten in. I said I don't know how he is in the rain though. That's the only question. Of course, yeah, that kind of I think he's going to be fine. I just saw him doing that little fishtail there and actually keeping the car under control. So I'm going to go Confessor P1. And I'm going to go. Now, I bet against him before, and I'm not going to make the mistake again. I'm going to go C-Freeze P2, and I got to go B-Tom P3. I know it's kind of a boring podium, but I think that's what I got to do. Yeah, so those are going to be my top three. It's probably not a great idea betting against Vader in the rain, but I don't see how you can really go wrong with that top three. So, what about you, my friend?
Well, let's go with B-Tom P1. I've picked him a lot this year for the win, which is probably why he's only got a single victory to his name, but he had quite the controversy last week. I think he'll redeem himself and finish P1. I'm going to go Confessor P2. I just can't see him winning, but I think he'll get on the podium. And then I got Vader finishing P3. Like you said, he's good in the rain, and I think he'll redeem himself from the last 2 weeks, but it will not be enough to keep him from keeping the championship alive.
Yeah, in order to really keep the championship alive, Vader needs to win, and it needs something to happen to B-Tom. More or less. Oh, and B-Tom does not know how to park. Oh no. Not a great start.
Is that a sign of what's to come for this race?
Everyone else filing into their spots. Oh, Needy Giggle does not know how to park. I will say Golden Class is perfect last night. Everyone got into their spots correctly. But here we go.
Round 13 of the Platinum class in the rain at Portugal. Lights out and away we go from the Portuguese Grand Prix. Who gets off the line good? Confessor gets a great start ahead of B-Tom, who is ahead of Seafreeze as they file down into turn 1. The midfield's looking pretty tight. 3 wide between these drivers. Raikkonen makes contact with Gagne Weave. They continue to keep their car straight, and behind them, Ben swerving side by side.
Yeah, they did a really good job of sorting that out. Looks like Vader was going to get the jump on Bats Plus. Bats Plus somehow got around him as Vader goes again around Bats Plus and is on the battery. Let's see if he can get the job done. Bats Plus chucks it up the inside.
Side by side, heading down into turn 7 and 8. Who's going to lift?
They're still side by side. I think both drivers are being awfully nice to each other. Now this turn coming up here, there's a lot of different lines you can take. Wouldn't be surprised to see Vader chuck it up the inside again. And he decides to be conservative there. Yeah, that's not really good for his race, because I feel like he wants to get around Bats Plus here pretty quickly. Yeah, good job from the rest of the drivers getting through there cleanly. Especially, I thought they were doomed when they were going 3 wide into turn 1. Turn 1's a bit of a narrow funnel on this track. Everyone getting through there cleanly?
Yeah. Let's take a look at the positions gained and lost off the start. Dirkshart gaining 3, Raikkonen losing 3, but otherwise a very civilized start for these drivers. Yeah, Dirkshart hounding Gagne Weave, trying to get another spot in the midfield, pretty close, but Seafreeze has a big gap to B-Tom. The top 2 already pulling away.
Yeah, maybe I chose the wrong race to pick Seafreeze on the podium. But yeah, like I said, maybe Seafreeze is just one of those guys. You know, I know, like it is for me, it takes me so long to find a limit on the wets for the inters, and maybe Seafreeze is just having a similar issue here. We'll see if once he gets into the rhythm of the race, things improve for him. But yeah, right now he's kind of conducting the choo-choo, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. He's pulling away from Bats Plus a little bit, who is still under pressure from Darth Vader as they head through turn 11, that corner you were talking about earlier that you were having troubles with.
Yeah. Yeah, the track limits in that turn are just weird. Well, in that game in this game in general, but yeah, the track limits for me were hectic through there. But yeah, it's something I'm gonna keep an eye out through this entire race. So many spots where you can kind of just overdrive it a bit. Yeah, 3 seconds after 2 laps. I mean, you usually don't see that, especially in the Platinum class. But yeah, Seafreeze all the way down to Ben swerving, all on a train.
Meanwhile, at the back, things are getting dicey for 11th. Andy Wu looking for a move inside of you, having a giggle, and Giggle will take the position for now. Will Andy Wu send it? He does! In turn 3, these two are having a good battle.
Definitely. And Vader again, he's really close to Bats Plus, but wasn't close enough to have a lunge there.
P12, a couple of Golden Class reserves going at it for that last spot. Giggle goes wide, and I think Fire Up Flow will have that position.
Vader right now. He's watching them bright orange cars just get smaller and smaller in distance. And, he's probably getting frustrated here.
Yeah, definitely.
No DRS, you got to do it the hard way in the rain.
That's right. Yeah, you got to rely on that battery, and I'm sure he's going to use some. He might have to use some here.
Yeah, say Bats Plus got a little swirly there. He got a little too wide onto the curb. I will say, though, one thing I like about the track is that the curbs aren't death. There aren't really any depth curbs on this track. You can really use them without, any weird things happen. Even in the rain, honestly, which was relieving to me last night. But there you go. Professional on the battery, but so is Bats Plus. Bats Plus is doing the exact same. And you can see maybe Bats Plus maybe has a little bit more straight line speed than Vader does right now.
Yeah, I'm sure Vader, he knows what's on the line today. He knows he has to finish ahead of Beat Tom to keep things alive, and this is not going to help his cause at all. He's a good rain racer, but he's got to make this overtake happen because, like you said, the McLarens are pulling away.
And honestly, Confessor's pulling away from B-Tom right now. I don't know if B-Tom is just kind of, taking things easy at the moment, but, I have a little bit of stutter on my screen, but... Oh, Ben Sorvin made a little bit of a mistake. Here comes Vader. Oh, I thought he was going to have a lunge there, but he didn't quite get the angles right.
Well, he's got a good run on Bats here.
He did the same thing Bats did the lap before. It's got a little wide on that curve, and the camber really drops off when you get out onto the curve there.
Let's see what kind of a run he gets here. He gets sideways. I don't think he's going to have the track position to maybe overtake, but he is going to use the battery to try and get around Bats Plus. Bats Plus might have to do the same. He goes a little bit wide.
Yeah, and we're going to see just a straight line speed here. And it's pretty much even. Maybe even a little bit in Bats Plus' favor there for straight line. This is allowing Seafreeze to get away. Bats Plus goes wide. Will Vader chuck it up the inside? Does not. Oh, we got a bad drive out of turn 4 there. Oh, and there it is!
Gets the overtake done. Bats Plus makes a good save, but he's going to lose several positions.
Yeah, he's now side by side of Dirt Shark. And now side by side. It was the first victim of the time penalty, and I think he did that all by himself. Just went a little wide, and that's a little rare from him. Usually not one that makes his mistakes. Yeah, now it's maybe the Bats Plus train here.
All aboard the Bats train. He's got a wild shark on his train in the second car of the train, if you will.
Be interesting to see the gap between Vader and Seafreeze. See if that comes down. Oh, and Bats Plus is another moment.
Man,
and he is very lucky that Dirt Shark did not get into the back of him there.
Yeah, no kidding. Side by side. Oh, they're very close. There's contact. Bats makes another great save, but that was too close, and he makes contact with Ben Swervin now.
Yeah, they are both having to get off the gas there. Dirt Shark almost ran it off the track there, but yeah, look, Bats Plus has some good straight line speed. I'm not sure if that's the ideal setup you want here on the... Oh, and Dirt Shark goes around! Oh, and I thought he was going to slide across the track there in a very bad spot, but fortunately he did not. Got it stopped, but he's down to P8 now. I was going to say, Bats Plus going backwards here in the early goings, but he has not been... He's been rather vocal about his displeasure for racing in the rain in this game. And meanwhile, the gap continues to grow between the McLarens and the rest of the field. 5 seconds now. Seafreeze to B-Tom. These guys are on another level at the moment.
Yeah, and you can tell, too, Seafreeze has been pushing, just based on the battery and just how I saw him exiting turn 8 right there. He is pushing, and it just seems like he does not have the pace that the McLarens have.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of surprising to see, but like I said, the McLarens those guys are pretty quick, and I think, If Confessor comes back, it'll be full time for next season. It'll be interesting to see if he sets another fastest lap. By the way, I mean that's already just as fast as we saw the Golden Class last night. I mean, I don't think we got down. We were running 134s at the beginning of the race, but that was more of a deluge type of rain than anything else. Ben swerving, can't do anything with Bats Plus on the straightaway here. Just going through the rest of the field, no real overtaking possibilities just yet.
Ben swerving sends it, shifts down to neutral there, and that is going to hurt him a lot.
Yeah, I did not see that. I did not think he was close enough, but nonetheless, he gathers it up, keeps the car pulling straight, and he'll probably... I have a feeling he'll be back on Bats Plus his bumper or gearbox here relatively shortly.
Yeah. P10, Andy Wu, Stanley switching hands. Andy Wu in P11.
Fire Up Flow is joining the party as well.
Cool. He goes really wide there in turn 11. Fire Up Flow does. But, you know what? Whoa. Sideways is Andy Wu. I think
that's the fastest, so maybe he's flexing his muscle a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's quick, and I think Vader was really held up by Bats Plus. He is closing in a lot on Seafreeze, and as a matter of fact, Seafreeze, he's been using some of the battery, too. I think he's starting to get desperate at this point.
Yeah, if you're Seafreeze, this is where you just gotta take a deep breath, realize your pace is what it is, and just start hitting your marks, and hope it's drying up, which, by the way, just looking at it, it looks like, I mean, it's barely raining right now, so... there is a chance of it drying up throughout the race. Like I said, with Codemasters weather, you don't know. It's kind of hard to tell when that might actually be. Like I said, it was supposed to dry up in last night's race, it never did, so... we shall see, but yeah, some tight battles here. P9 through 12. I think Vader is about to be knocking on Seafreeze's door here pretty soon. Just looking at the gaps, I don't think Vader, even if Vader gets around Seafreeze, I'm not sure if he's going to have anything for the top two. I mean, those guys are just cooking right now.
Let them cook.
Yeah.
They are cooking. Yeah, I mean, really, like, the top two are pulling away, but it's Confessor versus everybody else right now. He's almost got 2 seconds, and he just got the fastest lap. Confessor is cooking up the grid and looking for a third win in, I believe, 4 races.
Yeah, he's been doing really good. Bats Plus? Oh, Ben Swervin gets a penalty. So after going the entire race not getting any, he already got one. And that'll hurt his race, but... if he keeps it clean for the rest of the race, I have a feeling it'll kind of even out, because I don't think that's the last penalty we will see. But Bats Plus has kind of gathered himself. He's losing a little bit of time to the cars in front of him, but... oh, and Ben Swervin does a little bit of drifting there. But, yeah, he's kind of gathered himself up. He hasn't made any mistakes since. So...
yeah.
Got any Weeb showing decent pace as well.
Along. Yeah, he's got good pace. He does have that penalty, but as of now, that wouldn't mean anything, because he's pulled a gap on Bats Plus. Yeah, and I gotta say though, Ben Swervin, he's got the penalty, but he really is showing good pace. For being a Golden Class driver, this is clearly one of his best tracks, if not his best track. Just based on what we saw yesterday, should have won his first Golden Class race, and today he's in the midfield for the Platinum Class, legitimately having the pace that guys like Bats Plus and Got Any Weave have.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit. I mean, we haven't had a rain race in Golden Class. That's the first rain race we had in Golden Class all year, so maybe there was... I take that back, there was one in Canada that I missed. Yeah, maybe Ben Swervin's just really good in the rain, too. So we don't know. Some guys that just really excel in tricky conditions. Like Vader, who is giving Seafreeze company as he almost loses it there.
That was almost a good commentator's curse. I had a couple of them yesterday.
I don't think there's such thing as a good commentator's curse, but anyway.
Well, yeah, a bad commentator's curse. I think I cursed Ben yesterday. I was saying, the order is going to stay as it is, and then boom, he disconnects.
I mean, yeah, that I don't think that's not exactly your fault there. That was I don't know. That's peak Codemasters in this game. It's always something, I feel like. So, yeah. I'll tell you, this battle here from 9th on down has been pretty entertaining. It seems like guys, it's just being shown it's really difficult to overtake in the wet here. These guys have been all over each other. It's like one of them has a moment, backs up as B-Tom, maybe now finding his footing as the track slowly starts to dry up a little bit.
Yeah, but you're right about this train here at the back. They are very condensed here from 9th to 11th, and especially Stanley on Raikkonen. And Stanley, he doesn't have much to work with, but he's going to use it right here and try and get this done on Raikkonen, who goes defensive on the front stretch.
Yeah, and Raikkonen's using the battery too, so I don't think he's going to be much progress made, like I said. Into no DRS, so they're having to do it the hard way.
That's right. I do want to say, though, Charles, you look at the screen right now, it's not really raining. Are we going to see dry tires at some point this race?
Yeah, I think we might. I mean, like I said, that was always a chance in the weather forecast. Like I said, with Codemasters weather, you never know exactly what you're going to get. As Dirt Shark gets a penalty. But yeah, like I said, the lap times are been coming down, and yeah, I mean, just looking at it, I think it's gonna. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the screen, it doesn't look like it's raining at all now. Like I said, I noted it was lighting up a couple laps ago, but it almost looks like it could be drying out here. So it's just a matter of how fast the track dries, which, like I said, in this game, who knows how long that's going to be. But like I said, B-Tom is really coming live all of a sudden as well. He is on the Confessor right now.
Well, I think the pace is picking up. He got the fastest lap by a good margin right there. And, yeah, maybe he's better in the dry, but the pace is definitely picking up. I think we're going to see some slick tires here in the next several laps.
Yeah, at this stage, unless it happens in the last. Oh, we got a yellow flag. Who spun? That was, Fire Up Flow is out. And that's a safety car. He's out right on the entrance of pit road. All right, guys, don't do what I did, please.
Yes.
I have a feeling everyone's going to be hopping in for, it might be a little too early for mediums. I mean, but the track doesn't dry. I mean, you can't go into slick, so it'll be really interesting to see what these guys do. I feel like the obvious situation would be to put on slicks right now, but you just don't know how quickly the track's going to dry.
Yep, I mean, that safety car could not have come out at a worse time when it comes to strategy. This is going to be in the hands of the drivers, and there might be some luck involved in this strategy.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's a little too early for mediums. I know you could probably take mediums to the end here, assuming the track dries out. You know, someone, especially further back in the pack, is going to gamble here.
Oh, for sure. But here come both McLarens in the pits, and Confessor speeds and gets a 5-second penalty. McLaren disaster class in the pits because B-Tom is going to get held up here.
That's not going to affect B-Tom any because they have enough of a gap behind him. But and Bats Plus continues on. So does Ben Swervin.
Yep, but let's take a look at what they do. Confessor, intermediates. B-Tom, mediums. Oh, boy. Oh, that was close coming out of the pits there. I just noticed the Confessor.
And it gave the spot to the Confessor. Oh, that's cruel for Bats Plus. Well, not Bats Plus, Ben Swervin. I agree, a lot of guys staying out. They have gotten any weave, and Raikkonen going on hards. I disagree with that. Like I said, with the track being somewhat wet, I think you need to get on mediums to help get the temperature in the tires quicker. Because those hards are going to be horrid right from the gun here.
Yeah, it's interesting though. Almost a split decision across the grid. Seafreeze and Vader both opting for intermediates, as well as Andy Wu. I mean, you do the math. 4 people took intermediates, and well, 5 people took slicks. So just about even.
I think V-Tom might have just won the race right there. It depends on how, like right now, it looks so sketchy on the dry tires. I mean, we'll see how it is. We'll see if anyone changes their mind this lap. Well, Stanley just spun out, so who knows? And then maybe they're regretting the decision, but
yeah, I want to watch him here out of the hairpin.
Were you watching the McLarens going into the pits? Because B-Tom was really close to Confessor. He didn't bump into the back of him, did he?
No, I didn't see him do that, but you said it wasn't going to cost him much because of the gap, but I think that did hurt him in getting in behind Dirk Shark. You know, I think he might have been able to get out in front of him.
Yeah, I was expecting everyone to pit. I forgot you could just stay up. Let's see if anyone changes their mind. No one doesn't look like anyone's changing their minds. Oh, someone's coming. Or is someone coming into the pits?
No, Seafreeze was just pulling a Matt Roofer and juking the pit lane.
Everyone is sticking with what they got.
Well, if there's anybody that will change their minds, it's going to be these guys at the back. Stanley and Giggle have both spun out here under safety car, and Giggle spun out of the hairpin. We saw him sitting off in the gravel. So I think they're going to just stay with what they have, but you never know as they come through turn 15 right now. Oh, Raikkonen changes his mind. He's in the pits. Stanley stays out.
Yeah. See, I always hate doing that because, you know, I did that once in the Silver Class race, and it ended up biting me in the ass. A lot of times, sometimes it just pays to stick with what you got, and you know, sometimes you die on a hill, and sometimes you end up looking like a genius. But yeah, trying to predict Codemaster's weather here is a bit of a roulette, if I'm being honest. But yeah, we'll probably have another lap under safety car, and the longer the safety car goes on, the drier the track's going to get.
True. And really, what this reminds me of is the Silver Class race in Canada as Stanley makes a rookie mistake.
No, come on, Stanley. Safety car, man.
We're going to have to take him out back.
I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but...
Oh! Well, we might have to. He just almost spun out for the second time. So let's tally it up. It's 2 spins and a penalty under safety car. Yeah, that's...
2 spins. He just spun again, but... Let's see how B-Tom's doing. I mean, you would think the track will dry out here, but it's just not. It's really weird.
Yeah. Honestly, if I were in their shoes, I actually would have pitted for inners, because the Silver Class race in Canada had a late safety car restart on lap 29. We went back racing with only 3 laps left, so we had a lot of time under safety car. And keep in mind, the rain had stopped several laps before the safety car came out. But at the finish, it was still very wet on the track, and I ended up falling down in several spots. So it does take a long time for things to dry up, typically. And, you know, this has been a long safety car. This is a bigger track than Canada, but we'll see if this pays off for B-Tom. I think this might have been a risk that he just pulled.
Do you remember the Silver Class race in Singapore where it was just like insta-wet and then insta-dry? And everyone was like changing strategies like every other lap, whatever.
Was that season 13?
Yes, I believe it was.
I think that was the race where I got brake checked by the safety car.
Oh, Seafreeze is disconnected.
Yeah, are you able to get him back in here?
Yeah, I'll get on that.
Okay, appreciate it. Yeah, no, I think it was season 13 of the Silver Class. It was either 12 or 13. I think it was 13 because it was a wet race.
It was 13, yeah.
I was in the lead coming into the pits. A safety car came out literally right as I was exiting the pits, and all of a sudden, at the end of the pit exit, the safety car just stopped, and I rammed into it and retired. So that if you see that in the stat book that I have 4 DNFs, one of them is Mickey Mouse, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But safety car is in this lap. Fast Plus controls the way. When will he decide to punch the gas?
Look how far back B-Tom is laying back. That's his interesting strategy. Plus looks like he's going to bring the field down relatively slowly here.
Yeah, Confessor wants to go. He's pulling alongside him here. Now Bats Plus goes, and we're back underway.
Alright, I did send Seafreeze an invite, so hopefully he gets back in here soon. Side by side for third. Not third. Yeah, they were side by side for a minute. But
Contact! Bats Plus goes off the track! Contact with Confessor, and he's in the gravel. Oh, wow.
What is going on? And B-Tom is going nowhere.
Yeah, he's struggling. I think he made the wrong decision here. Big implications at this point in the race. Remember the championship.
Oh, Ben Swerven going for the lead! Oh, and he did not get a good drive off the turn. Remember, at least for the first lap or so, you think his tires will be a little bit better because they'll be warm. But yeah, as soon as these guys get kind of in order here, you got to think Confessor's just going to bolt. One, because of the pace he had, but two, because look how much fresher his tires are. Swerven and Dirt Shark definitely used safety car to get some track position here.
Well, Ben Swerven, he does have to pit, but once again, up towards the front. Getting towards the closing laps of this race, what can he do? But he is under pressure from Dirt Shark.
Yeah, and Swerven and Dirt Shark will roll with the guys on slicks. Probably just saying, come on, like, we're waiting for the track to dry out because, they need to pit. And they're probably saying, okay, we'll just pit onto the slicks whenever that time comes. But when is that time going to come? And I'm just saying, look how far down B-Tom is. I mean, the track just did not dry up. In the moment, B-Tom was almost looking like a genius, but let's see if he stays out. Yeah, you've already dug yourself a grave. You might as well stick with it right now at this point. But he's so far back, like even if these guys do have to come into the pits, almost a moot point at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit until the track dries up. I mean, you could just see the stream behind him as he is really fighting for grip in turn 3.
And meanwhile, Vader is seeing dollar signs.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
This might go down to the last round yet.
Yeah, well, don't count out B-Tom. Last week, his podium streak was in jeopardy. There was a little bit of contact. We all know how it ended. But B-Tom has a knack of still getting a good finish regardless of any circumstances. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and just in this half lap, he's lost 30 seconds to Seafreeze. Seafreeze still not back in the session. Alright, I'm going to send him another invite then.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of spots, and it's unfortunate. He's hopefully still going to get a decent finish, but yeah, he was in a good spot, but unfortunately that's up in smoke. But Confessor has the pace, and I think that shows it right there. I think the conditions are continuing to let up, but we're still very much in intermediate conditions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole second faster than what they were running before the safety car. Of course, he's on fresh tires now, but yeah, well, I mean, we're looking for the DRS-enabled sign. That's what we're looking for. That's the telltale sign that this game gives that it's go time for the slicks, and we're not seeing it anywhere. And the guys at the back are coming into... guys in the back are... Well, Stanley's anyway. He's thrown in the towel. Just trying to survive at this point. Giggle's thrown in the towel. He's just trying to stay on the lead lap.
Giggle threw in the towel on lap 1. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Giggle. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I mean, Vader, honestly, is in a really good spot here to possibly win the race. I mean, he has to get by these two in front of him, because Confessor does have a 5 second, so he'll just have to stay within range, and Vader... Yeah, not only could Vader keep things alive going into next week, but it could be a head-to-head match. It could be within single digits going into next week at this rate.
Yeah, well, I mean, just looking at it, I mean, let's do some quick math. I know we're only halfway through this race, but let's do some quick math here. We're looking at a 16-point difference here between what they'll be earning right now, and let's do some math here. I mean, it would still be a 21-point lead at this point for B-Tom if things ended the way they were. assuming Vader gets around Ben Swerven, that is. That's giving Vader a P2. So yeah, Vader really needs to win the race. But as of now, if things hold the way they are, Dirt Shark goes onto the mediums.
Yeah, I saw that, and honestly, I don't know if that's the right decision. Here's a good indicator right here. B-Tom does get by him, but B-Tom is still losing time.
I'm just looking at B-Tom. Yeah, I mean, he's still losing time to C-Freeze's AI by quite a bit. So I don't understand that. I might have just given B-Tom a couple crucial extra points there for B-Tom. But yeah, as of now, it's going to the final race of the season, as things stand. But yeah, I don't know what Dirt Shark was thinking there. But yeah, I mean, look, I mean, in this half lap alone, B-Tom has lost a second to C-Freeze's AI car. So
yeah, I mean, the only way I see him getting back up there is if things do dry out and they cycle through, which Confessor is in the pits, so this could be when things are cycling. But even then, B-Tom has a lot of time to gain. But here comes Confessor. What is he going to put on?
I just don't see it. I mean, why did he pit?
Maybe Jeff is telling them to?
Maybe, but I mean, I'm just looking at the delta between B-Tom and C-Freeze, and it's still increasing. Like, Ben Swerven's in the lead again.
Oh my gosh. Safety car. We need a safety car right now. Wow, what a week for him. But I want to focus on this battle for P7. It is side by side between Confessor and B-Tom. And if the conditions are drying up, B-Tom's race might be saved here because he is now back in contention with Confessor. But keep in mind, Confessor did just serve a penalty, and they're side by side in the hairpin.
Yeah, that is true, boss.
B-Tom almost lost it there. Sorry.
Like I said, he's still losing so much time, and at this rate, Professional is going to have I mean, Vader's in the driver's seat for this win now, which could be crucial to him, getting, really taking it to last week and putting pressure on B-Tom, because right now, as Ben Swerven comes into the pits. Now, to be fair, in Ben Swerven's defense, his tires are a bit knackered. I mean, he has 20 laps on them tires, so he was probably wanting to get off of those anyways. Got any weeks of the second penalty. But yeah, just, again, looking at the delta, they're still slower than C-Freeze's AI car. Just saying. both the McLarens, it's not by much anymore. It is starting to even out, but this is really working in Professional's favor. Or Vader's. Just, again, I say this every week. Just keep your name the same. Just stop with this changing your name every. But anyway, I digress.
Or just make your username your real name, and you'll never have to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean that works too.
I am the Exhibit A in that theory, but yeah, no. You look at where Ben Swerven came out, though. Look at this. Ben Swerven just came out very far ahead of Confessor and B-Tom. Huh. What does that tell you?
It's probably kicking himself of that penalty, but yeah, I mean, I still say, is that a Professional? I mean, right now, oh man, it's looking pretty dry now. I mean, we haven't seen the DRS signal yet, but it might be that time. Like I said, it's so hard. So right now, the telltale signs look at the gap between Ben Swerven and C-Freeze, and the gap is coming down. It's time to pit right now. Oh no! And Vader goes for another lap. And so does Bats Plus, so does Raikkonen.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the track, it looks dry. Like, I agree with you. I think this is the time to come in and pit. But you know what, though?
The gap's actually pretty much the same, so... And the AI stays out. I mean, that's a telltale sign.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with Ben's penalty, but I really think he timed it absolutely perfectly.
I think he did too.
P6. Whoa, Confessor glitching all over the place, and Andy Wu's going to just give him the spot.
And he is cutting down that time too. To C-Freeze's AI. Again, not by a whole lot, but it's definitely coming down. Professional needs to box now. he does, he will be in a really good spot.
I agree. And B-Tom gets that spot, and it looks like, who is Confessor passing? That is Giggle, the lap car. And, yeah, well, right on cue. Penalty.
We still have not seen the DRS enabled yet, though, and that could be fooling Vader. And see, Vader's not seeing the deltas we are.
He's in the pits.
And he comes into the pits. All right, it's going to be real interesting to see. Bats comes into the pits as well.
If I were Raikkonen, yep, good decision. He's going to stay out. I actually like this because if he stays out a few more laps, he can just put on the softs.
Oh, he put on inters! Oh, no! Oh, it's a Codemasters moment. You got to believe from Professional. Oh, another rookie mistake. Did not make sure he had the mediums on, and that could be championship over right there.
Unbelievable. We're at the point in the season where mistakes are crucial, and Vader might have just made one right there. Yeah, Confessor, fastest lap, and he is on the mediums. Well, at this point, you just stay out if you're Vader and defend like hell once they get to you.
Yeah. But, you know who's in a really good spot now? Old Bats Plus. No penalties, fresh mediums.
Oh, man, we were robbed of a first-time winner yesterday. I'm not sure what his platinum stats are. I know he's a golden champion.
One win. I think he has a couple wins. Remember his famous win at Jeddah in the...
Look out! Contact between him and Ben swerving, though, and Bats Plus spins out in turn 7.
And so does Ben. Wow. That's the second time they've gotten together, too. Well, no, Bats Plus has been a battering ram. He's got together with Confessor, and... Oh, Bats Plus is in a golden opportunity to get a win there.
Was that a commentator's curse?
Yeah, I was just talking about his win at Jeddah when C-Freeze and B-Tom crashed in the last corner, the last lap. I'm sure we all remember that. Raikkonen into the pits now. So you know who's in a really good spot now?
Who?
Raikkonen. He's not going to come out in front of... Yeah, I don't think he's going to come out in front of Confessor. No, he won't. So Raikkonen, he just wasn't far enough up, but... Oh man, the seas have just parted for the McLarens. And that's a shame, because I was really looking forward to watching them have to work for the win. But yeah, it looks like Vader is just going to have to continue on and hope for a miracle here. I mean, he doesn't really have much choice. He has to kind of die into the grave he dug for himself, which, I mean, I've done that before. You forget to switch over to tires when you come into the pits, especially if the game's not recommending the tire just yet, but, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's bone dry now, and, oh, man. Just when you thought everything was going in Vader's favor, it all goes back the other way. Meanwhile, we've got a pretty good battle here between Dirt Shark and Raikkonen, and Ganini gets another penalty. What is going on with him today? Bats Plus goes around the outside of Dirt Shark. That's a spot for Bats Plus. And he should be in a good spot to overtake Raikkonen here pretty soon.
As long as he doesn't run him over.
So Bats Plus has gotten punted by Confessor.
Sorry, keep going.
Was that a sneeze?
No, it was me freaking out because Bats almost turned Raikkonen.
I had no idea what that was. But anyway, DRS open, and I think Bats should have him here, and he will. Oh, no, he won't. Raikkonen.
Oh, Jesus. Well, they made contact there. It's all good, though. But Bats Plus not making any friends out here.
Well, Bats is, he's got to be seeing, right? If you have a spinner, I think that was Ben swerving. He managed to hang on to it. Yeah, Bats. Let's see if Bats chucks it up the inside here. Yeah, he's going to go for it. Yeah, Bats is
side.
Bats has got to be seeing red right now because you got to keep in mind. I mean, he would be right on Vader's gearbox right now. He's got into weeks. That's the fastest lap, and yeah. And right now, as it stands, I mean, it still won't be enough for Vader. Even if he gets to win and B-Tom finishes third, B-Tom will still be the champion here, as things stand. So yeah, it was looking all nice and rosy there for a second for Darth Vader, but he's got to be fair, he's got a long ways back to Andy Wu and Ben Swerven. He's starting to lose more and more time though.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to continue to lose time, but all I'm saying is the gap really is not coming down as much as I thought it would. So, Confessor might get him, but B-Tom, I don't know if he's going to catch him.
I mean, it's 2 seconds a lap, so I think B-Tom's going to get him. I was thinking maybe he could hang on for a podium. I'm not even sure how realistic that is. And now Bats Plus is gaining on Ben Swerven. He's technically already ahead of him. This could be spicy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, I feel bad for Ben. Think about it. 2 days in a row of potential victories, and I say that because although he has the penalty, he would be up there with the McLarens if it weren't for that spin, which I'm sure it'll get put in the stewards, but I'm not sure if that was his fault.
Okay.
But, yeah, Confessor will probably get him next lap, and...
You'll get him this lap.
No. We have, 500 feet till the finish line, but remember last week, if you tuned in, you would know the controversy that occurred between Vader and B-Tom. They will meet each other here on track very shortly, and Vader is going to have to give him the spots. See, he passed him on this lap. He didn't get him the last lap. By maybe a couple feet, but...
Okay.
Oh, man, that is a shame, though, because Vader...
Bats Plus is seeing red right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, but with Vader, though, dude, if he put on the right tires, he would have won this race. He came out 6 seconds ahead of everybody else, and he would have maybe kept the championship alive. I mean, I think it's going to be 27 points between these two. Well, now it's more than that, but yeah, no, that's a shame. Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me about the championship, though. I forgot about that.
It's just been mental mistakes these past few weeks from Vader that we just haven't seen really ever. And it's just bizarre of kind of what's happened here recently, so...
Oh, boy. Real quick. Are you looking at the screen right now? I just saw some raindrops. I think it's too little too late, but oh my god. Yep, it is definitely raining.
Do you remember Britain?
I do.
This track could be underwater in a minute.
Here comes B-Tom, though. He's going to go very defensive. Vader gives him the lane, and that will be an easy overtake. Second and third swapping hands, but this race is not over with the potential weather. We have a yellow for you having a giggle off the track for the 16th time.
I counted 17, but I digress.
Okay, alright. Fine. I won the last debate of who would pass who on what lap, so you get this one. Yeah, but you know what?
Is it raining, though?
It was. It definitely was. There's no way it wasn't.
So I thought I saw that, too. I thought my eyes were just kind of playing tricks on me, but... This game, if it starts pouring, that would be... We need a safety car, and then just have a bunch of people have it start pouring, and have a bunch of people stay out on slicks, just jumble everything up. I don't know. Yeah, the thing is, it's so late now. Even if it does start raining, would the top? I mean, unless it starts pouring, I feel like it's almost too little, too late. It's Andy Wu. I don't think he's had a podium yet in Platinum. He's in real good shape here.
Yeah, I was about to say, Andy Wu is in prime position to get his first podium of Season 15, as long as he can just have some clean laps here and get by Vader, but he's already absolutely murdered the battery, but at this point, I don't think that is an issue. I'm telling you what, Charles, it is starting to rain. I'm looking at the windshield. It's starting to rain.
Bats Plus now in DRS of Ben Swerven. Dirt Shark, he's not close enough to get a move on Raikkonen. I think Bats Plus is going to have something to say with Ben Swerven here in a second.
Yeah.
Bats Plus, despite getting spun twice, basically. Both times, basically. Getting spun twice from the lead, mind you. Oh, here we go. Defensive. Might still get P4. Which I think would be... I mean, he probably won't say so, but it would be... Oh, they're leaning on each other! Swerving really tried to squeeze him there.
They remember what happened earlier in that corner. Bats Plus still behind him now in the uphill section, and he will stay in that spot. Ahead of them, though, I do want to focus. Well, these two are still going at it. I have to stay here, but ahead of them.
Andy Wu.
Yep, he's got the position. All right. Now we can focus on this battle.
Overtake there. How much battery does Ben have? Ben has a little bit more battery than Bats, but they still have a decent amount to work with. Yellow flag. That's Giggle for, I guess it's 18 now.
we're counting, Giggle. You gotta get your act together. Or we will play the song. I don't think you've been here since I last implemented the song. I don't think you even know what I'm talking about.
Here we go. You were playing something last week. I forget what it was. There we go.
Going defensive is Ben. He got contact, I think, there. He's to the outside. Has to concede the position. He goes off the track and spins in the sand.
That was a weird little situation. Ben just ran into the back of him because Ben got on the trampoline, as C Freeze called it. And then Ben spun. That was a very odd spin. From Ben Swerve. I don't follow Ben. Yeah, Ben's mad now. I don't think Bats did anything wrong in that scenario. Like I said, I didn't see the replay of the other ones. But okay, Ben, don't retire on track, please. Right round, you spin me right. Okay, anyway.
I think that's appropriate. Ben
it
is still stopped. He's going to keep going, but that could have caused a safety car. Yeah, I was a little worried.
That could have caused a safety. Anyway, and Bats Plus is about to get up to. Oh, Ben!
Yay! Contact!
Bats just got wing damage. I'm pretty sure from that.
Oh,
no, he didn't somehow. But yeah, Vader just got really loose right in front of him. And had he not, I mean, Bats could have still gone for a podium here had he not, had he made quicker work of Ben and Vader there.
Yeah.
Now Raikkonen is on Vader, and I mean, Vader's just, Ben Swerve got a penalty. I think Ben might be calling quits here.
Raikkonen's best finish all season is a 5th. He could tie that here if he makes this overtake work on Vader.
This is so tricky for him because he's got Dirt Shark breathing down his neck. I think Raikkonen just has a lot more straight line speed than Dirt Shark. I think Dirt Shark is actually a bit faster, but they just get to the straightaway and Raikkonen Dirt Shark just has nothing for him. Now Vader probably will finish 7th. Just because Stanley is 10 miles behind him and locking up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was the point in the season where we saw mistakes being made by certain drivers, and Darth Vader is about to have his 2nd worst finish of the season, which ties his 2nd worst finish of the season from last week. His first best was a couple weeks before, where he finished 11th. So I hate to say it, but he's kind of crumbled here in the past month.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, and man, it's just a shame because I mean he was putting in a really good fight, and we've all made that mistake before, where like you think you have it selected for medium tires coming into the pits, but you really have to make sure it says medium tires on your little MFD instead of just hitting the button on the Jeff communication thing. Because I know I made that mistake before where I accidentally pitted onto the wrong tire, and I really do feel for Vader in a scenario because this should have been an easy win for him, and Bats Plus 2. I mean, like I said, whether that incident between him and Ben Swerve was his fault or not, but no, he's been spun from the lead twice in this race, and I mean he was running down Andy Wu pretty quickly. I think he just made a little bit of a mistake, but it was going to be a bit of a stretch for him to catch Andy anyway. But man, how many 2nd place finishes would this be for B-Tom?
This would be his 7th 2nd place finish on the season. If you want to include sprints, it's 9th.
I thought it was a lot more than that. To be fair, he's got any lead, just spun. We got into a bit of a scrabble with Ben Swerve in there. But Ben's still going. He'll still get a point, which is not what he wanted.
Yeah. But really, though, I find it ironic that this season is finishing with a
Actually,
reserve
Ben will
getting.
finish ninth. I take that back. Ben's going to finish ninth because Seafreeze's AI will not count. Seafreeze has been out of a race for too long.
I find it ironic that we're finishing this season off with a reserve winning yet again. At the beginning of the year, it was Lawrence winning 3 races. It's now going to be Confessor with his 3rd victory in just 4 races. Not 100% the way Lawrence was, but that doesn't matter right now because B-Tom has only won a single race this season, but he has been extremely consistent in being on the podium every single race.
I think Andy Wu might be getting a little nervous here. His Bat's supposed to put off a whole second on him here very recently, but yeah. So we Confessor all by himself here coming to the line.
Confessor will win the Portuguese Grand Prix round 13. And behind him, coming to the line to make history, B-Tom is the Season 15 Platinum Class Champion for Trinity Competitive Racing, his 4th, a record.
And big shout, Andy Wu, his first career podium in TCR, or at least in the Platinum class. And Raikkonen will hold off Dirt Shark. Good drive by him. He had Dirt Shark all over him for, at least the last 10 laps there. So, some good races here. Vader will limp home in P7. So yeah, good job by Stanley. Good job there. Stanley's going to be P8. Oh man, Vader's going to be really frustrated. Seafreeze across the line. That won't count. Giggle finishes the race. Props to Giggle for sticking in the race and finishing. A lot of people would have thrown in the towel. Ben swerving after being in the lead for a good portion of this will come home P9. Got any lead P10. Again, Seafreeze's AI car will not get points. So move those 2 drivers up a spot. Well, that was an interesting race.
It was, and Andy Wu deservedly driver of the day, but the guy we got to focus on is the guy who just clinched his 4th Platinum Class Championship, which breaks the record between he and Seafreeze for the most all time. And I'm sure he would have wanted to get more wins this year. He's might only have 1 win this season as a champion, but you know what? He has that perfect podium streak, and that's what wins championships. This is Exhibit A. That consistency is what wins championships.
Yes, sir. Pulling an old Matt Kenseth on the field here. Only 1 win, but that's all it takes sometimes. And I don't want to pick on him, but do we invite our? Well, no, we'll wait till next week when Silent comes in. I was gonna say, do we invite our constructor champion to the chat? Because I'm sure he'd have some words to say after that race, but I think we should wait till next week till we can get both him and Silent in the chat.
Yeah, we'll get everybody in next week. But you know what, Charles? This makes for a very easy podium. We will not have to resort to Discord.
All PlayStation people? Oh, yes, let's go.
When's the last time that's happened?
Yeah, no, Andy Wu, first podium since Season 8, so he is not his first podium, but it's...
Wow.
I wasn't even in TCR then. I didn't... Wow, that's... when was Season 8? That's 2019, people. Fall 2019.
He is a Golden Class champion, so he has made his mark in TCR, but as for the Platinum Class, he's an underdog. And as you mentioned, his first podium in, I would say, if you do the math, 7 seasons, that's roughly 4 years.
Yeah. Fall of 2019. Like I said, I don't know if that's his first... Well, we'll ask him here in a second. I don't know if that's his first... Did you send the invites, or... Do you want me to
I'll get them right now. I got to go into the showroom and get Andy Wu's nice... Well, do we interview him or the champion first? Who do we go with? I think Andy Wu, right?
We'll say champion for last.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool. That works.
So I guess we'll do Confessor second, but.
Or yeah, I guess that works. Yeah. But yeah, I'll get them in here for an interview. Golden Class has not been very nice with interviews recently. Last 2 weeks, I've only had one person in the interviews. So.
I think I'm only friends with B-Tom.
Yeah, I'll get them both. I'll get all of them in here. I got all 3 of them, so we'll get.
Actually, I only have V-Tom on my thing. What? Weird. more friends. 'Cause I always, yeah, there he is. Anyway.
So we will get this started once they all join, and we have one of them. And we're saving the champion for last, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this makes it easy for you, Charles, though. You won't have to resort to Discord either, so this is...
Yeah, I won't have to be doing the weird, what was it, the speakerphone or whatever.
Yeah. But, Seafreeze, later in this season, kind of implemented a comms channel in Discord, which is really genius. I don't know why, people didn't think of that before, but I think we'll probably just do that next season. That way things are very straightforward, just because this season was very much of a transition season with the game and crossplay and everything.
Yes.
But well, I figured we could probably start since we're all here now, so we can definitely start. But we will kick things off with our third place finisher because of circumstances with the championship. We'll go third, first, second. But we will start off with Andy Wu in the Williams, getting your first podium in a very long time in the Platinum class, and you were able to benefit from the weather changes and the pit stops. How are we feeling?
Oh, great. Yeah, first podium since Season 8, I think, and definitely my first Platinum one, because we don't want to talk about Season 7. But, yeah, I mean, it feels weird. Definitely did not deserve that one. I think I was a second off of everyone in quali, so... strong pace throughout the day, but shout out to the Willie on the podium. Love that. So, yeah, it was a fun little race.
Yeah, and it was a chaotic race for sure. We saw a very split decision when it was time to make pit stops. Some people pitted for inners, some people pitted for mediums. What was your thought process through that? Were you kind of back and forth on your decision, or were you pretty set on what you were going to do?
I was back and forth, but not between slicks and inners. It was whether I wanted to stay out on the old ones or pit for new ones. The track was just way too wet. And if we would have went another lap under safety car, I may have come in for slicks, because I know... the back three were, they were 20-odd seconds behind the field when the safety car came in, so I was a little surprised it did. But it probably saved me, because, that track ain't dry out worth nothing. So, I think pitting for inners there definitely got me the podium, but, yeah, it was, circumstances that went my way this time.
I agree. And if there's anything I can compare it to, the Silver class had a race in Canada where I made the mistake of pitting for slicks at the end of the race because, me and J&B thought the track had dried up enough, but clearly it takes a long time for the track to do so. So I think you made the right decision there.
Yep, and just glad to get the Willie on the podium. Good result out of a pretty horrid season, to say the least.
That's right. Charles, any questions for Andy Wu?
Yeah, I guess, we saw a lot of it in the race. Did you get into any bumper cars during the race? And how nervous were you there at the end because Bats was bearing down on you that last couple laps?
See, I was sweating. Once it got dry, I picked up 2 dumb warnings, extending out of one, so I was sweating on 2 warnings there. But, yeah, I actually had some pretty nice overtakes, especially in the wet, just taking advantage of people braking way too early into... oh boy, I'm not too good with the corner numbers around here, but I think turn 5's a hairpin in the middle sector, and then the other heavy braking zone coming towards the end of the lap, going up that hill. I made a couple nice moves there, and then getting around professional on the inner. Shout out to him. Mad respect doing the whole race on that set of tires. Or once it went dry, I enjoyed seeing what he did there, but. Yeah, nothing dirty in terms of bumper cars, but definitely a lot of action.
Right on. Well, Andy, congrats on the podium. It's good to see you in here. And I don't know, are you going to get another one next week to cap off the season?
I don't know. It depends on how many screen freezes I get.
I feel you there.
It's terrible. Can't stand it. But yeah, thank y'all.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so now we're going to move on to our race winner, Mr. Confessor, with your third victory of season 15. Well, if you include the sprint race, it's 3, but technically your second on the season, and it wasn't as easy. You had the 5-second penalty there. There was a little bit of contact
It's
at
3.
one point.
It's 3. I went hungry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, with Seafreeze, that's right. With the penalty,
Yeah.
it is 3, 4 if you include the sprint race. So yeah, you did it again. How are we feeling?
I feel kind of bad because I think you saw it off the restart. Me and Bats had a bit of. I just lost the back end and touched him, and because I don't know, the contact mod in this game is so sent him all the way to freaking to Spain into the gravel trap, and yeah, it's a shame because I think he probably could have won the race. Seeing how far he came out ahead of me by all the incidents he had. Um, I don't know. It would have been a close one for sure. I feel a bit bad. Other than that, it was a pretty steady race. It was a good one, I guess.
Yeah, and well, I might as well ask you the same question I asked Andy Wu. It was pretty split on drivers deciding what tire they wanted. What was your thought process going through that? And well, you had to do that, and you also had to hold off B-Tom. That way, you weren't getting double stacked there in the pits.
Yeah. Funnily enough, because I'm a massive filthy weeb, my radio guy is in Japanese, but I forgot to turn on the subtitles. So he was just saying Japanese thing. I did not know what he was saying. I had no clue what he was talking about the entire race. So I was just vibing. I was like, tires, we don't care. I'm just living my best life out here. And then during the safety car period, I was like, okay, maybe I should probably turn him back to English and see what's up. And he says, oh, the crossover is like right now, by the way. So I was like, okay, cool, this race is over then. Then off the restart, because I thought B-Tom was going to walk it because he was on the mediums. I thought he pulled off a master stroke. Then after like a lap after the restart, I saw he was all the way like in 8th, 20 seconds off. So I was like, oh, okay, never mind then. So, yeah, I think I pit maybe a bit too early because the tire warm-up is insane. Like, yeah, the enters are slower, but the tire warm-up to get the mediums to that level it takes a while. That's why including my 5-second penalty, I got overcooked by like everybody. So, yeah, I think I made just about the right call.
Yeah, awesome. Charles, any questions for our round 13 winner?
Not really. I mean, you looked like you were in control pretty much the entire race. Like you said, was there any point where you felt like maybe V-Tom was going to come up and threaten you, aside from, I guess, coming out of the pits there? And
I
yeah,
was I was quite surprised when he came out the pit because I thought like when I hit him, I thought he went like all the way to last. I thought he would have spun as well, but looking back at it, he just kind of went wide into the gravel. So I was surprised when he came out ahead of me, and I was like, okay, that's good for him. Then Ben Swerven took him out. It's tough. So yeah, I think my main goal was just to increase the gap to everybody behind me in case of any penalties, which personally I think I probably will get, but who knows.
awesome. Well, congrats, man. That was you put on a really good race there. So, like I said, congrats. And like I said, you've really shown some good pace. And like I said, hope to see you coming back next season and next week.
All right, thanks.
All right, now we are moving on to our second place finisher, but more importantly, the guy who just clinched the Season 15 Drivers' Championship. It's B-Tom. It was not easy. It was looking like you made a really bad decision there to pit for the slicks, but it all worked out. How are we feeling?
A little annoyed, to be honest.
Annoyed?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
at the time, when I pit onto the mediums, I thought it was a good idea because the engineer was saying that the slicks and the enters would have similar pace. And then on the restart, I was like 3 to 5 seconds slower per lap. And I knew like if I pit again for enters, I would just be throwing away race time, so I had to stick with it. Um, so yeah, knowing that Odoms had a 5 second penalty for speeding in the pits, and that towards the end of um, our stint on the entrance before the safety car was closing up on him fairly quickly, I think it would have been relatively easy to win because I highly doubt he would have closed up that 5 seconds and then overtaken me since I had um, quite a bit less wing than he did. But um, I guess overall I should be happy since I won the championship, but I don't know.
Yeah, and you know
It's
what? What's that?
conflicting emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And that was going to lead me into my next point, which is you didn't win the race today, which I can imagine, is a little frustrating with the circumstances. And you did win the championship, but you did it by being consistent. And I know we have one race to go, but man, you've had 7 second place finishes, and that's not including sprints. If you include sprints, you've had 9. Um, what's your thoughts about how the season has gone? Obviously, you're the champion, but just talk about how you've only won a single race and you've been able to get it done though.
Um, yeah, I think it is a little frustrating to not have won more than one race, especially when you consider that in the vast majority of races this season, I have been in a position where I could have won. Um, I mean, Australia, I was leading until I got punted. I don't think I would have won Japan. I was just struggling there. Brazil could have gone slightly differently had I not gotten a penalty. Um, what else? China could have gone differently um, had I played that a bit better with my ERS and where I chose to attempt my overtake. Same for Abu Dhabi. Undercut was much stronger than I expected. And I felt I was quicker than, what's his name? Lawrence there. And then, yeah, France. Me staying out too long on the slick tires and coming out behind professional and sea freeze. Canada with the penalty for tapping professional. Koda was getting hit by that on the formation lap. Monza with the safety car coming out literally one lap after I got overtaken and having a ton of battery to play with in the last few laps. Hungary with the safety car coming out right after I passed the pit lane, and tonight with me going onto the mediums like an idiot when it was still wet. So what's that? All but 2, because Monaco I was just slow, and then like I said, Japan I don't think I would have won regardless. So yeah, a bit frustrating to think had luck been on my side or I managed things a bit better, it could have been my best season, yeah, in terms of wins, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I mean, you could have had 10 wins this year, and things haven't gone your way in some aspect. But I kind of believe that in a way, maybe you're just saving it all up for the championship. Maybe that was how it was meant to be this season. I know you've won other championships where you've won a lot of races, but maybe that's just how this season went. Maybe we were just saving up all the luck for the end.
I don't think so.
No.
I think it was I managed to win despite having bad luck. That's how I see it.
Can I just say
Um,
it's pretty unfortunate that finished the past 3 times you finished second was to me, and I just came out of nowhere, and you would have won those races if I wasn't here. So that's really unfortunate. Maybe you're just destined for second,
I mean, some guys just like to finish second. I think
right?
that's just a fact here. It's okay. It's okay.
yeah, well, again, I think most of that was just down to a bit of bad luck,
Nah, I had you in
um,
coach. I can't lie.
more than you know you just showing up and kind of shitting on me or whatever. But um, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess you could say I'll have the last laugh since I won the championship. But Uh, yeah. To be honest, I don't really feel um, any strong emotions about it. I'm not really an emotional guy, but one sec. At the same time, uh, it is kind of a big achievement, I guess. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Charles, do you have any questions for B Tom? We kind of went through a lot of things right there.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say huge congrats. Like I said, you really earned it this year. You had a lot of people up there really challenging you for wins, like every race, obviously. And like you said, you had a lot of close racing, and I think you really earned it. Like I said, you were up there and probably could have won obviously more races than you had. So, congrats. Like I said, I have a feeling this won't be the last, but are we going to see a last the first challenge next week?
Uh, who knows? Maybe if I try something different, something will work in my favor. I don't know. Um,
I'm just saying I feel like it's a TCR tradition, especially when both championships are kind of out of the question.
yeah. Did I do it in season 13? I don't
I remember I did it in
remember.
season 8, Mexico. I do remember that.
Yeah.
You got to do it. Come on, give us a chance.
What do you mean? You've won plenty of races.
Hey, like on F1 2018. Okay, we're not gonna go that far back.
Um, well, others have won plenty of races. Um, I don't
Maybe
know.
that's
We'll
the
see.
secret. If you start last, you'll finish first. I think there
Yeah.
could be some correlation.
What track is next week?
Spa.
Spa.
Oh, yeah, you should do it there.
Yeah. Just pull over and retire on lap 1 for me, please. Thank you.
Don't worry, I'll crash come over.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, might as well. Yeah. For the last race in the game, might as well. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good idea.
All
Good
right.
idea. But
Hey, 1 week and you never have to play this game again.
Yes, sir.
Whoop whoop.
hey, I've got 5 days, Charles. I get to finish this up before any of you guys.
Okay.
Sick brag. Jeez.
I know, right? It's that silver flex. Um, but yeah, that does lead us into next week, which is the last week of season 15. Golden and Platinum championships have been wrapped up in the drivers, and well, for Platinum, the constructors have been wrapped up. But in Golden, we have a pretty tight constructors battle between McLaren and Mercedes. McLaren has a 14-point gap going into next week, so definitely still up in the air there. And then for Silver, the constructors have been wrapped up. Haas was able to get that, but drivers is still up in the air. So we will see what happens next week in Belgium, final week of season 15. And then, well, actually, in a few weeks after next week, we do have the All-Star race, which will be the first race on F1 23, but technically it will be a part of season 15. So that will be the last race that we do in season 15. But if you're looking for points racing, next week we'll wrap it up in Belgium for round 14. But that will do it. My name is Camden Luca. That is Sir Charles, and we will see you next week in Belgium.